Have you ever felt like you were going through life and you were not getting anywhere? No matter how hard you tried, no matter how many plans that you made, you just felt like, I am going nowhere. That is a frustrating place to be. In fact, a lot of us, what we find is we feel like maybe we're not as far along on the path as we should be. For years, for decades, for millenniums, scientists, religions, people have searched for the plan and the path to life. Now, with so many people searching for the plan and the path, you would think somebody would discover it, right? But this is what the facts are. There are 7.5 billion people on planet Earth. That's a lot of people. And out of those, only 5% could actually tell you what the plan is for their life. And out of that 5%, only 2% of those people actually live it out. That means 98% of the people on planet Earth don't know the path that they're on. And this is sad because that is meaningless. It is like a hamster on a hamster wheel going nowhere. And that's exactly what's happening right now. I am going nowhere. And your life can feel like you are going nowhere in it. In fact, there is an incredible plan for your life, and Jesus has that plan. In John 10:10, he says, I have come so that you can have life and have life to the full. See, God knows the plan that he has for us, the plan that he has in store for us. One of the things that we have to do is we have to recognize his voice to find that plan that he has. Years ago, when I was growing up, I had an uncle who had a dairy farm. And on this dairy farm, it was full of cows. And every single day, those cows did the same thing. Twice a day, they went from the fields where they ate and they grazed down into the barn where they were milked. Now, the barn was a warm place. It had hay, it had all the food that they needed. But the cows on their own would stay out in the pastures forever. And lots of times, the nights got really cold. Now, my uncle would go out and he would actually call the cows to come back. And the remarkable thing is the cows knew exactly which stall to go into. They knew what the plan was as soon as they heard the farmer's voice. So a lot of summers when I worked with my uncle up there on the farm, he would say, go bring the cows down. And I would go to the gate and I would call them. And the call he would use, he would say, come boss. Come, boss. And the cows would come down off of the hills to the gate. Now, I would stand at the gate and say that over and over and over. And you know what? The cows never came. So I would have to go up to the valley. I would have to go up on the side of the hill and actually get a stick and work all the cows all the way down in the barn. What took my uncle literally about 5 minutes took me hours. And he would always laugh at me when I would finally get them all down to the barn. And he'd say, what took you so long? And I'd say, they just don't come to my voice. Now, when we recognize God's voice, we start to understand the path and the plan that he has for us. Listen to what it says in John 10:2-4. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep listen to his voice. He calls his sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought them out all on his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. But they will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from him because they do not recognize a stranger's voice. God wants us to hear and recognize his voice. In fact, he tells us to be still and know that he is God. When we're in a hurry going through life trying to do it on our own, we don't recognize or hear his voice and where he's leading us. In Ecclesiastes, we find that there is a purpose for everything in life. In fact, King Solomon, who was wise beyond measure, searched all the different areas of life to try to find purpose and meaning in the path. And in Ecclesiastes 3:1, listen to what he says. There is a season, a time for everything, a purpose under heaven. So there is a purpose for us. There is a plan. When we embark on this journey, and we find out that our life is not meaningless, that God, before time, before He created you, long before your existence, He had a perfect plan for your life. Ecclesiastes 3:11 reminds us, yet God made everything beautiful for His own time. He has planned eternity in the hearts of humans, but people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from the beginning to end. For us to discover the plan, we have to understand that God wants us to discover it. He has it out there for us. He's not hidden it. He reveals it to us as we seek Him. Knowing that 98% of the people in this world don't have a plan or a purpose should give you a lot of meaning and a lot of just purpose to stay on the path. Isaiah 30:21 says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. A lot of us never experience the plan because we just don't hear God's voice. He wants to speak to us clearly. He wants to encourage you on this path. He created you for purpose. He created you for His plan. And as you begin to experience His plan, you will see just what He has in store for you. As we go through this journey together, there's a couple things that I want you to do, just some practical steps this week on your journey. One is you begin to pray that God would show you His path. And as He shows you that path, understand that some of the path might be different from the direction that you're heading. So we have to change directions to go in the direction that God is leading us. Isaiah was pretty clear that we will hear His voice when we search for it and when we listen for it. You will hear His voice. As you pray and spend time in the Word, I love for you to just spend time in John 10. As you read all the way through there, we will look at the Good Shepherd and see that His plan and what He has in store for His sheep is incredible. So for us to actually be in that 2%, to experience what God's plan is, to experience His path, that means that we have to actually get off the treadmill and start heading in God's direction.